Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, speaking about the FA Champions League, while the men were busy playing for the national team, the women were busy playing in the FA Champions League. So I'll share that also with you on the show this morning. And news concerning the World Cup that took place on the continent in the last few days also got so many talking. Burkina Faso are not happy because of the way CAF and FIFA went about deciding the team during the playoff. But the question is, were you guys not aware? You were, because CAF sent a memo to FAs to tell them, when we get to this point, we'll have to do this because a country pulled out and a group had 5, the other had 6. So, it makes sense. So there's no point for anyone crying about spilled milk. If we didn't qualify, I don't think that Nigerians will probably want to nag over that. We might probably nag about us not doing our job, but not nag about the way CAF and FIFA came about this whole idea of putting the playoff. So the playoff now, we'll be playing against Gabon. And speaking about Gabon, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang says, we'll be playing again in Morocco. Morocco is one of those beautiful cities, beautiful countries on the continent. We're not going there to do some sightseeing. We'll be going there to challenge the Eagles because we also want to be part of the World Cup. So Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang missed the last group game for his national team because he was sent off in match day 9, but he's eligible to play now in that game in November against the Super Eagles. So what it means is that he says, I'll be coming with my best. And so he is hoping that in that one game off, it's not going to be in Libreville and then the next one in Uyo. No. The 4 teams will converge in Morocco, and then we'll have one semi-final between DR Congo and Cameroon, and then the other one between the Super Eagles and Gabon. So, you see, it's the hard way. It is just simple. It is that your way or the hard way. So we didn't do it our way, we have to do it the hard way. Now, still speaking about World Cup, don't forget on the continent we have 9 of course qualified. And so what we said a couple of months ago, there's going to be 9.5. The half is not certain because the half is where you have Nigeria, Gabon, DR Congo, and Cameroon. They'll have to battle. For the other 9, congratulations. CAF and FIFA have sent them messages to say, you know what, hey, thumbs up. You did your job. After 10 match day across months for the World Cup. So you'll finally have your visas and your traveling documents to Mexico, Canada, and the US for the World Cup. Now, speaking about the World Cup, I heard that Donald Trump is saying one of the cities in the US might not be hosting the World Cup if some things continue to persist. Let me keep that because FIFA is there to react to that. But Donald Trump just speaking there. You know how Donald Trump can be. But coming back to the World Cup, the Super Eagles know that November is a crucial one, and we're hoping that all of those things that happen to us, we'll just let them go. Just remind ourselves of how Ivory Coast were dismantled the group stage, and they went on to win the Nations Cup. Maybe that can propel the boys because Nigerians gave up on the Eagles. Now, talking about giving up, the Moroccans are not giving up. They're doing everything they can. They want to dominate football, not just on the continent, even on the world stage. Watch out for them at the next World Cup. You saw what they did at the last World Cup. They went as far as playing in the last 4. They went as far as playing in the 3rd and 4th place where they lost to Croatia. In the 3rd and 4th place, they finished 4th. So, in context, you say they are one of the best 4 at the last World Cup. Now, bring it down home. In terms of club football, also, they're not doing badly. Now, speaking about what they're not doing badly is the Under-20 World Cup going on in Chile. They are not doing badly. Last night, they won against France on penalties. So it ended 1-1 after 120 minutes of football. The French lost 2 of their first kick. The Americans lost 1, and so it ended 4-3 on penalties. Remember, these 2 guys also met in the Senior World Cup just a few years ago where the French won and, of course, had them play in the final against Argentina. So now it's the turn of the younger ones, and the Moroccans say, you can't do the double. You can't beat our senior boys and beat the junior boys, and then they won. And so Morocco are in the final of this year's Under-20 FIFA World Cup going on in Chile. Still staying with that World Cup. Argentina, I've watched them play, and I've also seen a few of the highlights. And, of course, one of those games I watched was against our Flying Eagles. And I said at the moment, these boys are just good. Who will take them out? They took out Colombia. And so the final for this year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup is set. It's going to be it's going to be Argentina against Morocco. France will have to make do with the 3rd and 4th place game against Colombia. So it's all going down the next few days. I can't wait to see what will happen. That game should give us some spectacle. It should give us some moment that will wow so many of us. And, of course, we'll give us that moment also to catch up with some of these boys that might become superstars in the coming years. Don't be surprised that some of them, in terms of the Americans, might find their way to the Senior World Cup next year. You just never can tell. They've got some brilliant young boys in that squad. Do we go to BBC? Let's go to the BBC. When we come back, I've got more to share for you from the world of Formula One, because for one man, when you thought he might just be on his way out to join Mercedes, no, it's not going to be. Max Verstappen, the Dutch, will still stay. But for Mercedes, they're saying we're going to have two. We had two already. So those two will be staying for 2026. This news comes ahead of the Formula One Grand Prix that will be going on in the US, Texas to be precise. I'll share this and more with you when we come. Of course, something that has to do with tennis. Naomi Osaka is in the news, and we will give you results of the Women's UEFA Champions League games played on Wednesday night and what to expect on Thursday. But let's head straight to the BBC with Harry standing by to give us all the Premier League news concerning the build-up to the Premier League this weekend, and of course how England fared the last few days to qualify for the World Cup in 2026. The BBC.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Harry Roy at the BBC Sports Centre. The Newcastle United defender Dan Burns says he's going to give it his all to ensure he's called up to play for England in next year's World Cup. He was part of the Three Lions side that officially booked their spot at the tournament, which is being held in the USA, Canada and Mexico after Tuesday night's 5-0 win at Latvia. The 33-year-old now has 4 caps for his country.
Yeah, listen, I'd give everything to be on that play, and I just need to keep doing what I've been doing, playing sort of consistently. We've got obviously a short break in November, but I think the big one's going to be between sort of November to March, sort of keeping me form. Yeah, and just keep doing as much as I possibly can to get on that play.
In other Premier League news, the Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca has been given a one-match touchline ban after being sent off in the last gasp win against Liverpool. The Italian was shown a second yellow card of the game by referee Anthony Taylor for leaving the technical area to celebrate with his players following Estevao's 95th minute winner against the reigning champions this month. Now, Europe's top clubs, including some Premier League sides, have held discussions about using 6 substitutes per game to ease the workload on players. Clubs had informal private discussions about utilising 28-man squads, up from the current 25 and 6 subs. Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, as well as Nottingham Forest were among those from the Premier League in Italy. And Tottenham Hotspur have announced that Fabio Paratici will return to his role of sporting director 2.5 years after he was banned by FIFA. BBC Sport reported in May that talks were underway about a possible comeback for the 53-year-old. Paratici will hold the position of joint sporting director with Johan Lange and oversees Spurs' men's football strategy, including performance development, scouting and recruitment. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, thank you so much, Harry, for that. Let's talk some Formula One before we wrap up with some women's football. So, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli will stay with Mercedes for 2026. News came ahead of the US Grand Prix in Texas. And that means no chance for Deutschman Max Verstappen to join Toto Wolff at Mercedes next year. So, stay where you are. All right, so let's talk about some tennis this morning, done with Formula One, and take a look at Naomi Osaka. Okay, she's won Grand Slam before. She wants to go ahead and win, but a bit struggle for her in the last few games. Naomi Osaka battled through injury and her emotions to reach the quarterfinals of the Japan Open, choking back tears after hitting the winning shot against defending champion Suzanne Lamont. Top seed Osaka playing a single tournament in her native Japan for the first time in 3 years, won 7-6, 3-6, 6-2 to set up a last 8 match against Romania, Jacqueline Christian. Okay, so we'll wait to see. Playing at home, good for her. Pull through. Hopefully she won't get any knock at the point in time, because a couple of games for her to play before she see if she can win at home ground in Japan. Now let's talk about something has got to do with a champion at the point in time. Swimming now, quickly here, just coming in from the BBC, 4-time Australian Olympic gold medalist Ariane Titmus has announced she's retiring from swimming at the age of 25, saying the time feels right to step away. In her words, she said, it is a tough one, that decision now, but one that I'm really happy with, she said on Instagram on Thursday, adding, I've always loved swimming. It's been my passion since I was a little girl. But she says now that I am done but did not carry them again. Let's talk about some women in terms of the Women Champions League game played yesterday. When you have Chelsea, Barca on the menu, then you'll be saying to yourself, how many goals did they score last night? Chelsea at home at the Bridge won against Paris FC by 4-0. Before that, Olympique Lyon, who got a win against Arsenal in the opening game, also went on to win their game by 3-0. And Barca, when they play, it's all about asking questions, how many goals will this girl score? And of course, they hit 4 in Rome against AS Roma. FC 20 lost by 2-1 to Hot Heaven Leuven. Even though the Dutch side took the lead in that game, they end up losing by 2-1. Wolfsburg of Germany defeated Vålerenga of Norway by 2-1. There will be games later today, early kickoff. Let's run through those games for you. Atletico Madrid will be playing against Manchester United. That will be for 5:45. I'm talking about Women's Champions League, not men. Don't get it twisted. Bayern Munich will play against Juventus. Benfica women will play against Arsenal women for 8 and 8 also. Paris Saint-Germain will be up against Real Madrid women. And that will be for 8 when we come on Friday morning. We should give you results of all of those games going down later this evening. I am Peter. I'll see you guys again for 3:30 when we come. That will be Scoreboard Reloaded.